For decades, priceless classics from Hollywood's golden age were believed to be lost victims of studio carelessness, film decay, and nitrate fires. Yet against the odds, many of these films have been rediscovered and restored. Credit goes to film historians and archives that refuse to let these treasures vanish. Here are some of the most remarkable comebacks in cinema history. London After Midnight, 1927. Of all the lost films in cinema history, none stir the imagination quite like London After Midnight. Directed by Todd Browning and starring the man of a thousand faces, Lon Chaney, this silent horror classic was a box office success in 1927. But over time, all known prints vanished. Then, in 1965, tragedy struck. A vault fire at MGM destroyed the last known negative. For years, it became the ultimate lost film, the stuff of legend. But hope came in an unlikely form. In 2002, Turner Classic Movies, working with historian Rick Schmidlin, painstakingly reconstructed the film using over 200 production stills and the original shooting script. The result was a photo play, a motion slideshow that, while not the film itself, offers a compelling look at what once terrified audiences. Its rediscovery sparked renewed interest in silent horror and brought Lon Chaney's eerie legacy to a new generation. The Passion of Joan of Arc, 1928. Carl Theodor Dreyer's The Passion of Joan of Arc is widely considered a masterpiece, but for decades, the original version was presumed lost. Early prints were heavily censored or damaged. For nearly 50 years, scholars and cinephiles mourned what they believed was a permanently altered film. Then, in 1981, inside a janitor's closet at a Norwegian mental hospital, an original 35mm print was found, completely intact and labeled incorrectly. Film historians were stunned. How had this cinematic treasure survived? Who placed it there? No one knows for sure. What we do know is that this version, restored to its full glory, reveals Renée Jean Falconetti's raw and soul-bearing performance like never before, stripped of Hollywood gloss, etched in silent agony. The rediscovered version is now preserved by the Danish Film Institute, hailed as one of the greatest recoveries in cinema history. Metropolis, 1927. Fritz Lang's Metropolis is a landmark of science fiction, a towering vision of a dystopian future. Yet few know that after its premiere in Berlin, the film was drastically cut for international release. Over 25 minutes, nearly a quarter of the film, were lost. Whole subplots and characters vanished from view. Generations only knew the incomplete version, brilliant but broken. That all changed in 2008. A nearly complete 16mm dupe negative was found in a Buenos Aires museum. A local film collector had unknowingly safeguarded a version of Metropolis unseen since the 1920s. It took 2 years to restore the footage. In 2010, a definitive edition premiered in Berlin with an open-air orchestral score. For the first time in 83 years, audiences saw Lang's original vision, with its political allegory, social critique, and spiritual depth restored to near completion. Bizin Meadow, 1937. Sergei Eisenstein was one of cinema's great pioneers. Known for Battleship Potemkin and October, his experimental film Bizin Meadow never saw the light of day, at least not as he intended. Commissioned by the Soviet government, the film's anti-religious and revolutionary themes soon clashed with Stalinist censorship. It was shut down mid-production. Prints were seized and reportedly destroyed. For years, it existed only in memory. In the 1960s, fragments and stills were discovered, along with Eisenstein's notes and storyboards. Using these, Russian archivists created a visual reconstruction in 2004, combining stills, narration, and original music. Though the moving images are gone, the spirit of Bizin Meadow survives as a ghost of what could have been, one of Eisenstein's boldest political statements. Upstream, 1927. Before John Ford became a legend of American cinema, he directed a light-hearted backstage comedy called Upstream in 1927. The film followed a group of eccentric vaudeville performers living in a boarding house full of romance, rivalry, and showbiz charm. For over 80 years, it was thought lost, vanished like so many silent films of the era. Then, in 2009, a miracle. A pristine print was discovered in the New Zealand Film Archive, mislabeled and forgotten. Restored and reintroduced to the world in 2010, Upstream revealed Ford's early brilliance, playful camera work, quirky characters, and surprising visual flair, including a staircase shot that critics say foreshadowed Citizen Kane. More than a curiosity, it's a joyful look at a master filmmaker finding his voice, and a reminder that even forgotten films can still take center stage. Too Much Johnson, 1938. Cinema history. Before Citizen Kane, a young Orson Welles made a bold experiment. Too Much Johnson, a silent slapstick film meant to accompany a live stage play. It was never completed or publicly screened, and for decades, Welles believed the only copy had burned in a fire. The film became a lost footnote in Welles' early genius. Then in 2013, a miracle. A complete 35mm print was found in an Italian warehouse, untouched for over 70 years. What it revealed was stunning. Fast cuts, comedic timing, visual chaos. Welles playing with form like a magician testing his tricks. Though unfinished, the film showed his love for early cinema and a restless creativity that would soon change film forever. Too Much Johnson isn't just a rediscovery. It's a rare look at Orson Welles before the fame, having fun with film. White Shadows in the South Seas, 1928. White Shadows in the South Seas was MGM's first film to use synchronized sound effects, an exotic romance set against the backdrop of Polynesian islands. While the film itself survived, its groundbreaking soundtrack, recorded on fragile Vitaphone discs, was thought lost forever. That changed when a set of those original discs turned up in a private collection. Using modern syncing technology, archivists reunited image and sound. Waves crashing, drums echoing, nature humming. Restored to its full experience, the film now feels immersive and ahead of its time. Its visual beauty matched by the rhythms of early cinematic sound design. This rediscovery wasn't just about saving a film. It was about hearing a lost world come alive again. The Life of General Villa, 1914. In 1914, Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa did the unthinkable. He signed a contract with Mutual Film Company to star in a movie about himself. Titled The Life of General Villa, the film blended real battles with dramatized scenes. Villa even paused military actions to accommodate better lighting and camera angles. Most of the footage was lost until the 1990s, when reels were found in archives and private collections. Though incomplete, the rediscovered film revealed a surreal fusion of propaganda, performance, and history. Villa became one of the first people to weaponize cinema, not just to tell his story, but to shape it. It's one of the earliest examples of film as both entertainment and revolution. The Old Dark House, 1932. Directed by James Whale after Frankenstein, The Old Dark House was a gothic horror comedy about a group of travelers stranded in a spooky mansion during a storm. Though praised in its day, it quietly disappeared from circulation. For decades, it was believed lost, until filmmaker Curtis Harrington, a fan and friend of Whale, tracked down a forgotten print at Universal's archives in the 1960s. Thanks to his efforts, The Old Dark House was restored and re-released. Today, it's considered a cult classic, part horror, part satire, with a brilliant cast including Boris Karloff and Charles Laughton. Its rediscovery saved not just a film, but a vital chapter in horror history, where dread meets dark humor in the most delightful way. Sherlock Holmes, 1916. In 1916, legendary stage actor William Gillette brought Sherlock Holmes to the screen for the very first time, defining the detective's look with pipe, hat, and all. For nearly a century, his film was considered lost, until 2014, when the Cinémathèque Française uncovered a nitrate print mislabeled and tucked away in their archives. Restored by silent film experts, the film brought Gillette's iconic performance back to life. His quiet intellect, dry wit, and cool logic. For Holmes fans, it was a cinematic resurrection. For historians, a missing link in the evolution of a legend. The great detective, it seems, had one more case, and it was solving his own disappearance from film history. They were forgotten in basements, mislabeled in vaults, or scattered across oceans. Fragments of old Hollywood, thought lost to time. But against the odds, these films returned. Not just as reels or curiosities, but as voices from the past, reawakening stories, style, and soul. Each rediscovered frame is a time machine, offering a glimpse into forgotten artistry, early innovation, and cinematic dreams that refuse to die. They remind us that no film is ever truly lost, not if there's someone still searching.